I think you get a parade of endorsements. You're going to start getting 13F filings here in May, and you're going to see, a parade of famous investors and famous funds that started biting off a bit of Bitcoin, and that's going to change things. I think you're going to see more and more securities issuances, more ETFs. Then you're going to see more derivatives. You're going to see more public companies. I think you're going to see more Bitcoin miners. They're going to be announcing that they're not just mining Bitcoin, they're buying Bitcoin. I think you're going to see more good news coming from the clients of Square, right? And small, mid-sized businesses. You're going to see more of them. I think you're going to see more of the exchanges announcing that they're taking some systemic view. I think it'll be just bit by bit, every quarter, one more normalizing, program that builds Bitcoin into the capital structure of a private, a public company, a fund. You're going to see. I think over the next 4 quarters, you'll see announcements from the big banks that they've approved Bitcoin ETFs for unsolicited sale, and it'll be one a quarter, and then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and then you'll see announcements that it's marginable, and then you'll see, like you saw last week, a dozen funds at Morgan Stanley approved Bitcoin to be incorporated in the fund, and then a bunch at 2 at BlackRock, and I think you'll just start to see more and more of these things. And that will drive the news cycle. And then I think you'll see some of these small, mid-size, these zombie companies. We've had CEOs of some of these companies reach out to us. I've had them reach out to me, and it's like when you're stuck and mired and your options are worthless and you're worried about losing your employees and you want to put some life back into the company, you need to do a deal. I mean, at that point, it's very simple. You're either going to sell yourself, and the deal you're going to do is sell out to a bigger entity that can get value out of your product, or you got to buy something or buy somebody, or it's either a merger of equals, or you're going to buy a small high growth thing, or you're going to sell out. And up until 2024, I don't think Bitcoin was an institutional option. The banks were afraid of it. Public companies were afraid of it. They didn't know which side the SEC would come down on it. I think by the end of 2024, I think the institutional world, the public company world will say, well, Bitcoin's not going away. Bitcoin's the only crypto asset. It's the best. There is no second best. We're not going to get shot to have it on our balance sheet. And at that point, people switch from fear, or fear of doing something to fear of not doing something, or maybe from fear to greed index, and they click it up a bit by bit. 2025 to 2028, those are kind of the years of early adoption. But good for us. It doesn't take much at this stage. It takes 2, 3, 5, 10 companies to act, and you kick off a roaring bull run. It doesn't take much to move Bitcoin from 60,000 to 150 or 200,000. When we get to 200,000, we're going to need, 10x more capital to move it to the next level, but they'll be on stage with us then.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have Michael Saylor. If you build, they will come. But the big banks and big corporations have been in crypto from the beginning. Guys, the only thing you have to do is go to the funding round. Remember what BlackRock Larry Fink stated. Bitcoin will be the stepping stone to the tokenization of this economy. Remember, this is a plan and moves in phases. So Michael Saylor is exactly right. The big banks and big corporations are going to make their way in. But remember, guys, this is part of the plan. It's for the digital economy, the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And that's the part they leave out. They tell you what's going to happen, but they never tell you why until they're finished with the plan. and then they pull down the curtain. And like I stated, in 2025, the curtain is going to start coming down, and the sheep are going to be coming into reality. But for right now, a lot of these big banks and big corporations want to stay behind the curtain. They don't want you to know that they're buying up Bitcoin, because then they can't play the Hegelian dialectic. Remember, crypto has to stay the enemy in order to bring down these small and medium-sized banks. And then, of course, the small businesses fall. And then we have mass layoffs, and that will open the gate up for the machines. So remember, guys, that's why we have the drums, the beating, cyber attacks, all these distractions. And then on top of it, this year's election year. And that's the only reason why they're holding up this economy. Remember, we're in a fragmented world. Everything has to be broken up in order to move in the digital economy. And then, guys, we have Apple, $110 billion in buybacks. It's unbelievable. I can't say this enough. And those who've been with me from the beginning know I used to do videos on buybacks. This is absolutely ridiculous. $110 billion is bigger than most S&P's market caps. You can't make this stuff up. But remember, the sheep stood by and allowed this thing to happen as long as they could do whatever they wanted to do. Remember, that's the American society. You can do whatever you want to do. Give you a little money, give you a little time to yourself, and a whole bunch of entertainment. And now we have a handful of people that are running the globe. It sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
There's another AP on our fund that is definitely a household name bank, but we have been asked not to mention. So there's still a range of people's comfort in the public forum. But we go out and we try to recruit the best counterparties. And I will tell you that before the Bitcoin ETFs launched, for those of you who don't know, again, I mentioned Bitwise strives to be a best-of-breed specialist in this space. The same way you would think of Apollo in private credit, or Brookfield in infrastructure, or Blackstone in private real estate. We're purpose-building for this space, but we're not Fidelity and we're not BlackRock. So we had to do a little bit of begging for people to take us seriously. That changed after the launch, and we started to have inbound from some firms that wanted to join as an AP. So I guess I just can't emphasize enough. I think that the Bitcoin ETFs have really brought Bitcoin into the realm of possibility for a lot of traditional financial institutions, to the point where, for the first time in 6.5 years, we have banks reaching out to us looking to be an authorized participant on a Bitcoin fund.
That's a great evolution. I do think it's funny that you went and said, hey, you want to be an AP? And they're like, yeah, but you can't tell anyone we're associated with you.
Yeah, that's remarkable. There's actually a bank with a wealth management division that recently, they spent 2 months evaluating Bitcoin ETFs. They approved the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF for advisors to put in portfolios. And they specifically asked that I not tweet their name.
Because you would have otherwise.
I may have otherwise. But yeah, they didn't put out a press release, so it's not publicly known. I think that's a remarkable part of the first quarter of this year, is that a lot of traditional and reputable firms have started engaging with Bitcoin in a way they never have before, but so few of them are saying anything about it. If you just scroll through your LinkedIn or you read press releases, you would think that nothing has changed versus last year, and I'll just tell you the world has completely changed versus last year, but for now, most or many are preferring not to have it be public.
Sales decline, but huge buyback, biggest in the history ever of corporate America, and also raising the dividend by a penny, but still a raise.
I've talked about the share buybacks with you many times. We have argued that would put a floor under the stock. This is, of course, a remarkable buyback declared by the company, and it will indeed do that and increase earnings per share probably 300 to 500 basis points in the coming years. So that's super important. And then lastly, I think that the AI discussion, even though Tim Cook didn't say anything, he repeated that the company has distinct advantages that the rest of technology doesn't have across all their product lines.
Going to a different economy. And we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence.
I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar.
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.